This video feels like such a dumb idea. Hi everyone! Today we are going to be talking about my August TBR, everything I'm hoping to read. This video feels like such a bad idea. It's been such a rough couple of months for reading for me, so trying to plan a TBR feels kind of idiotic on my part because I've proven over the past 2 months that I can't pick a book to save my life. Last month, I was at least still able to read at a pretty decent rate. I wasn't finishing a lot of books, but I was still getting to a lot of reading. And then July, I think I'm just starting to get really discouraged and really frustrated with thinking that a book is going to be the winner, that it's going to be something that I'm really going to enjoy, getting like 5, 10, 15% in, and then being like, I would rather shit my hand and clap than continue this book. Should I really be trying to pick out a whole list of books that I'm hoping to read? Maybe not. Maybe that isn't a good idea. But I also do find that sometimes having a TBR or having a list when I'm in a slump does make some of the like picking aspect not feel as intimidating, because if something's not calling to me, which is happening a lot, I'm reading a bunch of synopses and I'm just kind of like, all of these sound so bland and uninteresting. Why would I pick this up? So having some on deck that I know did pique my interest at some point sometimes is helpful, because then when I'm kind of in a panic, I just go, oh yeah, I have a pre-picked list that I can draw from. Great idea, me. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. Since we're already doing a long and rambly intro, I'm just gonna get this off my chest. I don't like my makeup today. Just need to have that said. I know you guys don't care and probably don't even notice, but I tried different blush placement because I wanted to look like the ingenue that is Dua Lipa. Ever heard of her? Didn't think so. It turns out when you are as hot as Dua Lipa is, you can just fucking slap on makeup wherever. Looks great. And me, not so much. I just felt that you should know that I'm suffering currently, but I'm doing it for you. Anyways, I've rambled a lot. Let's jump into books. All right, first up, we have Two Wrongs by Sam Mariano. So we are finally getting a new release from her. We haven't had one, I think, in like a couple years. So this is very exciting. It was a little bit of a surprise over the past couple of months when she popped up with this one. I was so mad when I remembered, because like I knew when I was recording my mid-year check-in like freak out tag video, I'll link that up here if you guys haven't seen that yet. I knew I was missing some books from favorite authors. Right after I got done recording, I was talking with Nikki about this book and I was like, oh, no, exactly, for sure. I definitely missed that one on that video. All that to say, I believe this one is going to be a standalone. It's Sam Mariano, so it's going to be dark. She tends to have pretty manipulative characters. It sounds like there is a revenge plot. It's not super tropey, so I don't know how much else I can really even call out about this. But basically, the premise for this is that the heroine has something bad happen to her that changes her life, and the guy that perpetrated this incident is ultra wealthy, powerful. His name is Tim Walters, which honestly just sounds like a very evil tax evading type of guy. It's giving evil billionaire, so I'm already on board with that. And the heroine's been trying to seek some justice, but because of, it sounds like some power imbalances, like it's just not happening. And she's really frustrated because she's really going through the ringer and he's just living his life like normal. And she's kind of at the end of her rope. And the way this is phrased in the blurb, it sounds a little bit life endy. It's giving a little bit of toaster bath. We're on our 12th reason, going on 13, you know what I'm saying? I think we're all on the same page. So that's all happening until she meets Tim's twin brother. That was so many T's and S's that just didn't need to exist together, named Tor, which I just have a lot of questions for their parents about the naming convention and choices here. I wonder if that's short for something. Anyways, we shall proceed. Tor wants to kind of switch things up, give her story a different ending, but it sounds like he kind of ends up completely taking over her life, as Sam Mariano heroes tend to do. But it sounds like she's kind of on board because the changes are benefiting her, until she realizes Tor might not be who he says he is, and that the Walters family might even be more depraved than she ever realized. I have so many questions after reading that synopsis. I'm like immediately pulled in. So Sam Mariano, I really love because she can deliver really dark, manipulative heroes, and she really just has the art for portraying manipulation, both the person perpetrating it and then also the person on the receiving end. She just knows how people think when they're in these types of like tricky tricky scenarios and just has like such a good sense of who her characters are, how they would respond in these kind of tougher scenarios, how they might justify things to themselves. So I'm really fascinated, I think, by this one just because there aren't a lot of preconceptions that I have about what this story is supposed to look like. This isn't relying a lot of tropes. There's not even a ton to go off of the blurb, although it does give details. It's still so vague that I'm like, yeah, but I want more. If her pride is anything to go by too, she seems really excited about this book and she took a lot of time with this one. So I kind of figure this one's going to be a good one, but that's the first one. Next up, I have Price of Angels by Lauren Gilley. This is the second book in the Dartmoor series. Don't know how these are technically marketed, if they're considered interconnected, or if this is considered a proper series, because I know that timeline-wise, this does take place after the first book, but it is about a different couple. So I don't really know. I'm going to err on the side of you probably need to read these in order, but because it is about a different couple, me telling you about this one, I don't think will ruin anything from Fearless, but just kind of know that this probably can't be read as a standalone. That was a lot of caveats. Motorcycle club romance, found family, suspense. This is about our heroine, Holly. She came to Knoxville with the specific mission of kind of cozying up to the Lean Dogs MC. She needs to find someone to fix a little problem for her. So she's been cozying up to Michael, who is the fixer, to catch my drift. And she's been kind of cozying up to him through her job as a waitress at one of their favorite bars. Michael doesn't seem particularly keen to take a contract from her. That's not really what he does. He fixes things for the MC, but he's not really like a contract ender of human lives. You know what I'm saying? He like keeps it to club business. But Holly is terrified and also infatuated with him. I'm sure that doesn't hurt. And she seems to be the only person that really views him not just as an outlaw, as an unaliver, but as a person. So he's inclined to bend the rules just this once. So, as we have maybe gathered from my mid-year check-in, Fearless knocked me on my ass. I'm mid-slump and just like absolutely going through it, and that book hit. That's how I know it's the books I'm picking up. I'm just a bad picker right now. But anyways, all that to say, Fearless was incredible, and I just want the stories of everybody else in this MC. I'm excited to get to this couple because they were set up pretty well in that first book in a way that I felt like it was subtle but also clear who was coming next. He really intrigues me because we really don't know that much about him from the first book. Nobody in the club seems to know him that well. Everyone's pretty scared of him. And Holly was just kind of like flitting in and out in the backgrounds of scenes. So I'm like ready to pull back like the secrets and the layers that they have now that I've already kind of like got to know them a little bit. And I don't know, there's something that I just find endearing about the fact that Michael is this like terrifying guy, but he also spends his free time reading. Love. Also, funny story, I was terrified of this book initially, not because of anything it did, but because the cover freaked me out, because there is a remarkably similar looking book cover to a really fucked up book by a religious zealot that believes women working outside the home and having short hair are demonic possession. So I didn't like the cover of this book. And thankfully, I can safely say that I don't think there's any overlap in content, but I just had to throw that out there. Anyways, let's move on. Ooh, okay. Next one is another new release that is releasing Tuesday this week. So I think it's also released before the video goes up. But Velella by C.W. Farnsworth. It's a standalone. It's mafia, forbidden love, got a little bit of Romeo and Juliet going on. Basically, Karina is from a very secretive family. She lives under an assumed name away from them right now, and she's kind of hiding in plain sight, working as a violinist for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. But she can't really like participate in life in the same way because she needs to be keeping all these secrets. And so she's trying to live as close to a normal life as possible, but it's kind of tricky just given her background. But one secret that is exclusively hers is her relationship with Lev Sokolov. So he is mysterious and dangerous and one of her closest confidants, but she knows if he knew her true identity, they would be instant adversaries. It's giving rival mafia families. But when Karina's father ends up breaking a promise, it ends up shaking up her very carefully crafted life. She runs from everyone and everything that protected her. CW really does incredible characters that I find engaging, find interesting, whether she's doing something darker or something more emotional. She really has these kind of like melancholic characters that are at these crossroads that are really trying to figure things out, and the relationship that they developed in the midst of all of that. And she can do so many different subgenres, but it's been a minute since she's done anything with mafia. The last one that I remember from her was Pretty Ugly Promises, and that book is several years old. I'm excited to see her do something a little bit darker. Recently, she's been doing a little bit more like billionaire and sports romances, some things that, you know, have depth but don't quite get so dark. Plus, I just think this cover is like delightfully moody. I don't know. I just have such a clear idea of what I think reading this is gonna be like that it makes me excited to see if I'm correct. I don't know. I just love everything she writes. So I'm like, her blurb could be absolutely nothing and I'd still be like, whoa, I'll probably read it. Next up is one that I found way in the depths of my TBR backlist. It is Oblivion Black by Christa Wojciechowski. You know what? I'm realizing I did the Polish pronunciation and I don't know how it would be Americanized, so I'm just gonna move on. But it's the first book in the Sculptor series. I believe this is a trilogy. It's dark. It's supposed to have kind of like gothic elements, a little bit of psychological thrillers sprinkled in. We've got themes of addiction, trauma, age gap, I believe, and kind of workplace, although it's not like an office. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we have Ona Price, who was in art school but was forced to drop out. She's also been forced into recovery after a nearly fatal overdose that landed her on the sidewalks of Manhattan. She's attempting to rebuild her life amidst all of this, ends up landing a job as an assistant to Antony Azaroff? Sure. A world famous sculptor known as the Hands of God. He's known to be quite difficult and broody and kind of reclusive. He's also highly talented, and his passion for art ends up reigniting Ona's own passion for art and just giving her a new sense of purpose in life, helping him out. But there is an undeniable attraction that is building between them, and Antony keeps deliberately keeping some sort of physical distance. He's trying to kind of hold her at bay when the wife of one of his wealthy patrons ends up setting her sights on the sculptor as well, wanting him for herself, and the dark secrets fueling Antony's art threaten to destroy everything. The blurb also says it's kind of like Bronte style gothic, live somewhere kind of between lit fic, romance, and thriller. So I feel like this is going to offer something a little bit different, a little bit more truly gritty in terms of a dark romance, which is something that I'm definitely looking for right now, rather than more of the like over dramatic, soapy type that I feel like I'm encountering a lot. Plus, I have gotten multiple friends in the book space that have raved about this book. Annika from Annika Reads Books over on Instagram. She's the one that wrecked me Fearless when I was slumping hard, so obviously I trust her with my life at this point. And then Cynthia from Kindle After Dark, I think was the first person to find this book, and they have both really sung its praises of like, it's such a mindfuck, they're not even sure if it ends in an HEA. Like, that's the kind of like grittiness that we're talking about. So that makes me really excited. I also just feel like this kind of marries a lot of things that I like, but I feel like is a bit of a fresh type of plot that I haven't seen before, and doesn't feel like it's leaning too tropey, which is another thing that I think I'm running into a lot with DNFing a lot of these books, is that they just feel bland and I'm not excited about them. And this sounds like something that could really deliver that kind of incitement, that intrigue that I'm not getting from other books. Plus, like I said, it's got a lot of elements that I love. I love books that deal with addiction and artists and dark fucked up romances. So I think this definitely could be a winner. Plus, I'm a huge psychology nerd, and one of the later books in the trilogy is called Hierarchy of Needs. You know that that's going to be a fucked up book. So excited to dive into this one. This is probably one of the ones I'm most excited to get to besides the new releases. Okay, so next up I have Shanna by Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. So this is a standalone. It's a historical romance. It's kind of heralded as like a modern classic at this point. It's set in the Caribbean and I believe also colonial Virginia. We've got a marriage of convenience. I think there's pirates if the back is anything to go by. We've got class conflict. I think if you know anything about my reading taste, you're starting to like understand why this had me perking up like a little prairie dog. I don't like that I made that analogy, and we're gonna move on. But this is about our hero who is in Newgate Prison. Why, you ask? Mind your business. He is condemned to be unalived soon, and the heroine has a bit of a proposition. She is in a predicament. She doesn't want to get married with someone else her father's kind of setting her up with, which given this time period, I can only imagine what hell would await her if she went through with it. But marrying this condemned convict kind of offers her the perfect out. All the benefits of having been married, none of the actual husband business. No men, thank you. So they end up striking a bargain. They get married. They have to have biblical relations for a night. But after that, she's basically gonna skip town and leave him to his fate, and she's gonna go on with hers. The thing is, he doesn't end up swinging by his neck. He ends up escaping the gallows and decides that he is going to reclaim his runaway wife. Goodness. And at some point, this ends up in the Caribbean. I don't know if that's where she ran away to, but it's supposed to have kind of an epic feel to it, which I can only imagine given how long it is. The things that pulled me in that I kind of alluded to earlier: marriage of convenience, pirates, it's not set in England. These are all things that I think could make this a winner for me. I'm not gonna lie. I also just think this cover is absolutely beautiful, and I'm just a mere mortal who likes shiny things. But basically, ever since I read Sea of Ruin, I'm like, any historical that has pirates or takes place in the Caribbean or has any of those like adjacent elements, immediately there's intrigue. It's something I've been kind of looking for a number of years. So actually, if you have any more recs kind of along this lines, I know that Sea of Ruin is like particularly dark, but I'm just looking for kind of like adjacent content because I've really been trying to, for a couple years now, dip my toes back into historicals. Actually, I have a vlog I'll try and link up here if I remember, where I try and figure out my taste in historicals again, because in my TV, like my visual media is like 50% true crime, 50% historical dramas. So like I know I like stories set in a historical setting, but I've just struggled with finding what I like in historicals. And I have some new theories about what I like and what I don't like. And I'm hoping to test some of that with this book. But I'm also thinking I'm gonna try and take a slightly different approach with reading this, more like I would an approach to a classic where I kind of like pick my way through. I'm not trying to like race through it, try and understand this book's place in modern literature a little bit, just because like it does kind of live somewhere between like historical romances and a classic. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I'm hoping to do. Okay, next up I have Archangel's Kiss, and this is by Nalini Singh. This is the second book in the the Guild Hunter series. These books do need to be read in order. It's a proper series. It's a paranormal romance, urban fantasy, angels and archangels and vampire hunters. I'm going to tell you about the first book so I don't spoil anything. This is about Elena Devereaux, who is like a top tier vampire hunter. She ends up being hired by the Archangel Raphael to track down a rogue archangel that has gone bad. The job ends up pulling her into a killing spree that is plaguing the city. I believe this takes place in New York, and it's unlike anything the city has seen prior. And it also pulls her increasingly into the seductive proximity of Raphael himself. Lynn and I are hoping to do this one as a buddy read and continue this series. We're finally not quite as busy, which is helpful for reading in general, but especially for a buddy read. So we were really intrigued by the first book. I think it was a little bit tropey, but I understand why people like Nalini Singh after reading that book. I understand the appeal. I think it's set up a lot that has my curiosity piqued, and the ending also took the story in a direction that I really wasn't expecting, especially considering how tropey I felt like the setup was. So that makes me really excited, because what happened at the end of the first book is basically what I thought was going to happen at the end of the series, or the end of our time with this couple. It really kind of shakes up the foundation that everything was built on, and I really think it gives a good opportunity. I'm trying to be so vague. It gives a good opportunity for the world to expand and open up. Plus, I will really love to see some more relationship development, because I do think that there is kind of like some sexy tension between the two of them, but I would like to see more emotional development. Intrigued to get into that one to see if I'm right. And the last one that I have for you is my priority read for this month. It is The Last Hours of Gann by Arlie Smith. It's a standalone sci-fi alien romance. I must warn you, I'm probably making a mistake picking this one for my priority read this month because it's so long. And this is quite a long TBR. So I don't know if this was a good choice. So this is about Amber, who had pretty much nothing left to live for except for her sister. They were able to score 2 tickets on Earth's first colony ship that they're going to be sending out. So she went into cryosleep with this like 5-year contract and promise basically of a better life, and woke up in smoldering wreckage of a crash on this unknown planet with thousands of fellow colonists who are dead, but there are some survivors. So they kind of band together. They don't really have any hope of rescue. There's no way for them to get home. This was sort of a one-way ticket situation, but lucky for them, they are found by a sentient species. And specifically, they're found by Marok. He is considered a sword of the Sul, which is some sort of holy warrior who is incredibly deadly. So he was a conqueror who's considered like an instrument of his god's judgment. And it sounds like maybe does some trials by combat if I'm kind of reading between the lines correctly. But basically, it sounds like that was the life that he was leading. And then that was stripped away from him after his father's death for some reason. And he's seeking deliverance at a legendary temple. It sounds like that's going to help right things in his world. I'm not super clear on what any of this means, to be if I'm totally honest. But basically, this is the guy that ends up meeting the humans, and, you know, he's got eyes for amber, which may prove the greatest test he's faced yet. So there's that. Obviously, this is a priority read, which is part of the reason that I want to get to it. I end up putting this on my priority reads list though, because I read my first R.L. Smith last year, I think almost a year ago. Well, no, not quite, because I was reading this around when my sister-in-law got married, and she got married in October. So pretty close though. Anyways, but I read The Beautiful Dead and was really struck by the characters that she developed and the journey that she really takes you on with her storytelling. We all know I'm a huge sci-fi nut. I love a space opera. So this intrigued me because of that, but it's also her most lauded work as well. I've tried a few other sci-fi books. They haven't really been working out for me. I'm either bored or the writing just isn't my thing. So I think I just need to bite the bullet and start this bad boy. So I don't know if this is one that I will necessarily finish next month, but it is one that I want to at least get started on because it is so thick. Well, we'll see how much reading I even get to, because I think I was looking at how much I've read this past month and it's only like 3 books. So yay. All right. So those are all of the books that I actually have for you that I'm putting on my TBR. For my vlog this month, I really don't know what I'm going to do just yet. Normally I put those books in here, but I'm out of a bit of a loss. There is part of me that wants to try and get back to the Edge of Darkness vlog that I started and then abandoned last month just because I did not have time to film. Part of me wants to just try and get back to that. Part of me just wants to take it a little bit easy and just not do a themed vlog of any kind, because I just don't know what kind of mood I'm gonna be in, and I would hate for the Edge of Darkness trilogy to end up catching strays because I'm in a bit of a slump right now. So part of me just kind of wants to read to get my mojo back and see if I can bust this slump. So I'm kind of leaning that direction. Let me know your thoughts. If there's books on my TBR that you're like, I would love to see you at least attempt to read that in the vlog, that would be incredible. Let me know and I'll try and include it in that as much as possible. No guarantees though, just given how everything's been going, which is bad. I shouldn't laugh. I'm in pain right now. So with all of that, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know about your thoughts on the vlog. Let me know what's on your TBR, what you're planning to read. It's the last month of summer, so I would really love to know what types of books you're wanting to read. Don't forget to like this video. If you did in fact like it, hype it up, interact with it in some way. It's totally free for you. Really super helps me out, and I would really appreciate it if you did. And don't forget, if this is your first time here or you haven't already, definitely subscribe. I would love to have you back for more videos, and I really do hope I see you on my next video. Bye-bye.